Hi, I'm Euge Valovirta, and on today's video I'm gonna show you how to dial in a great metal tone, and well, great tone in general in my opinion, and how to use that or dial that tone in a mix. Kind of like, do some little demo mixing here too. So stay tuned after the intro. Yeah, so I've gotten a requests of doing a video how I dial in my tone, and here we go. I have a certain way of dialing a tone, no matter if I'm using real amp, plugin, like on this video I'm gonna use plugin, and I'm gonna do a screen video so you can actually see better what I'm doing, and it's easier for me to present everything. So yeah, we'll be using a STL Tones, Howard Benson and Andy James plugins. But this same rules that I'm going to show applies to whether I'm using real amps or amp-like pedals and so on. So yeah, let's go to the screen. I'm gonna go a little bit smaller now, and you can see the screen go bigger. Okay, so here we are at this screen. I have prepared a session here in Logic. It's the DAW I use, and as you can see here is Marshall Guitar Sounds demo. So what I usually do, or always do when well, if it's a Marshall, I kind of know where to dial in, but let's say I have no idea. I usually put everything in the middle, like that. Gate off, pedals off, and yeah, so now everything in the middle, and then I just kind of it's, pretty cool rock sound just out of the box. And how I dial in an amp, I dial in like it's kind of like rock tone that cleans up when you roll down the volume, and then to get it to metal, heavier chugga sound, I use an overdrive. Then I have kind of like two channels, and I just love how overdrives compress and add sustain and makes everything tighter if it's a good overdrive. Okay, so let's start with the bass. I try to find the sweet spot on everything. So yeah, let me demonstrate. Okay, bass, I usually just play an open E. This is a standard C tuning guitar now. As you can hear now, it's like there's no low end. Now it's a bit too much, so you try to find the sweet spot. Around there, where it just like you feel and hear the low end coming. Okay, then mids. I usually use the D and G strings because they are in the middle. As you can hear, it's scooped. I don't like that at all. I like the sound to have a body, and that's what mids bring. I want to hear and feel the wood and the amplifier and everything. So if you cut out the mids, I think then you're not getting that. I mean, some people like that, but I don't. As you can hear, Now it's a bit too boxy. If it's too much, it's like honk honk. So we'll try to again find the sweet spot. About there, where it just opens up. Okay, and then treble, same thing. Too muddy. Too bright. Kind of there, so it just opens up nicely. And the gain, I dial in that it's just about to have that. There, but it just like. Okay, and then the master, because I mean with the tube amps, and since these plugins that emulates tube amps are pretty damn good nowadays, they actually can emulate how the tube amp behaves. So if you crank the master, you get a power amp, power tube distortion, like kind of plexi style. But if you're trying to dial in a modern metal sound, you might not want to have that, because that just makes everything like well, windagey, even fuzzy and harder to control and not as tight. So you want to find the sweet spot again where the tubes, or well, in this case the simulation of the tube, where the tube like opens, that is just like you can feel the amp breathe, but if it's too much, it starts to fart. So you try to find the sweet spot. You can hear now. There, I think there's have the body and stuff. Obviously, with a real amp, if you have a real 100-watt Marshall crank like this, you probably can't be in the same room. So that's why it's cool that they have nowadays devices that you can play at bedroom levels but still crank the amp, like the Sir Reactive Load I use, or Two Notes makes great products, or just some attenuator that you put between the amp and the cabinet. But anyways, you usually want to crank it a little bit. Okay, and then the bright and normal. This is definitely too dark. Maybe with a Strat it would be cool. This I would have probably checked out first, because I knew that it's like this. Okay, now we have the basic sound. This kind of like rock sound that cleans it out. Yep, basic good tone. Works for everything. Okay, then what we want to do next, we're looking for the metal tone. We want to engage overdrive. I think this is, well, just screamer, so it's probably 2 screamer. My favorite is a Boss SD1. It's a bit like screamer, but it has something different. I guess it's a little bit more open, or I don't know. But I have 2 screamers too, so I like them also, and I use them in the album. So, and this is a great emulation of a tube screamer. So, so what I usually do, I set the drive to 0, tone to noon, and gain to noon, and then again try to find the sweet spot where you can hear the screamer working. So now it's without, with, and let's dial in. And this gain, this is volume on the screamer, and this drive is the overdrive amount. I don't know why they label this as gain. Just there, like, you know. It's like almost full. It depends. Usually I have it like on 9 or 10, like, you know. It's pretty good on 9, where it just, if it's full, it's beat maybe too much, and then just plug it up a little. And then I add the drive, because I want to have that little bit of that overdrive's drive in the sound. There, so it's just, it's a bit too much. Yeah, around there. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Okay, so it just... And as you can hear, I don't have that much gain, and that's what people usually made the first mistake. They dial in too much gain. Then you lose the clarity, the punch, the tightness, and I think the character of everything. Because and especially in modern metal, and you know, I think music in general, you want to hear the notes you're playing and stuff. So usually I try to dial in as much as little gain as I dare, but that it still sounds chunky and you get the pinch happening. Like that. Okay, then dial in the tone. There, so it just opens up nicely. Cool. There we have it. That's let's save this Marshall Guitar Sounds demo. Cool. And then let's go to cabs. Cabinets and speakers and what microphones are being used miking the cabinets and speakers. That's actually really important part of the sound. That can make a huge difference how your setup will sound. So if you're, let's say, you know you have a good amp, but you just can't get it to sound right. There's too much low and too little, too harsh highs or whatever, then you might wanna change the cabinet. And nowadays technology, since it's impulse responses, many companies makes a lot, so it's easy to also get lost in that rabbit hole. But you know, if you find something you need, you just stick with that. I basically have just a couple of IRs that I use because I found that I like them, and that's it. And I have one cabinet, the Fryette fat bottom cabinet, which I've been using. I mean, I changed cabinets back in the day a lot, but then when I tried the Fryette, like, I don't know, 15 years ago, the fat bottom, then I haven't looked back. That's my cabinet. It's like this Eminence P50, so it's a 200 watt cab. It's kind of like mixer of vintage 30 and greenback. So you get the best of both worlds, the tightness of the V30s and the softness and vintage thing of the greenbacks. And the cab is really punchy and stuff. It's every amp I've tried sounds great with that. And same with a couple of IRs. Okay, so I have my own IR that I created using the STL Tones Libra. Check out my video on the STL Tones playlist where I explain how to use that. So I've created this IR because I like these cabinets what comes with the IRs that comes with the Howard Benson plugin, but I wasn't completely satisfied. So let me demonstrate. Let's this is now the IR that I created. So, at least in my opinion, there was some of them, so those that comes, they were a little boxy or boomy or too high, and so I just created my own. And I used, there's 4 different IRs. As you can hear the name, it's Ascendance. It was the IR that comes with the STL Tones Will Putney plugin. I have no idea what cabinet or what speakers or microphones were made using that. But I liked I liked the low end and the aggressiveness that was really like boom. But it was a bit too modern for me, so I have a Celestion's Eddie Van Halen 4x12 IR pack, and I just used 3 different IRs from that pack. So there's one with mic with SM57, one with Royer 121, and then one Neumann room sound, with just a little bit of room in there. So the main sound of this IR is the Ascendance, and then I just blended in a bit of the 2 EVH, mic with 57 and Royer 121, and then just a tiny bit of the room IR. And that's the sound I like, the cabinet I like, with this Marshall amplifier. Okay, cool. Now we have one good amp, and then when you record guitars, you know, you usually double them, hard left and hard right. Because that makes it sound just a lot bigger. And there's also one trick that I've learned from actually producer Jacob Henson, a great Danish producer who's produced both Syra albums, that he uses, or we used, what I use on the Syra albums, I used 2 different amps. So one is left and one is right. Then the sound becomes even more bigger because the amps have a different character, they react differently. So let me demonstrate. I have a session here, like I told you, I've pre-programmed the drums and pre-recorded the bass. So now what I'm gonna do, let's hope that I will nail this on one. I'm gonna record a track with that sound I just created, and then I'm gonna double it, and then I'm gonna show you how it sounds with different amps. Okay. first take. Okay, then let's double it. Let's pan this hard left, and then let's double it with the exact same sound. We can remove that. All right. And what I usually do when I double, sometimes I just want to double it like exactly the way it is, but like with Syra, there's usually some harmonies going on every once in a while, or maybe the whole riff is being harmonized in thirds and stuff. So that just creates again a wider sound and a more how would I call it, like I think more interesting, harmonically richer, so to say. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna harmonize this stuff a bit. Let's see what happens. I will use some thirds and some fifths and well, yeah, let's see what happens. Okay. That was pretty okay. Okay, so now we have a guitar here that is doubled and hard panned left and hard panned right, and it sounds when they are soloed like this. So you can hear there's those occasional minor third harmonies, which makes it a little bit bigger. But a trick I learned from like I mentioned, from Henson, is to use different amps, so it becomes even wider. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna copy this into this channel where I've dialed in a 5150 sound, one of my all-time favorites amps also. And I dialed in, as you can see, this 51 guitar sounds demo. So I basically used the same method I showed you with the Marshall. Just find the sweet spot, and again there's some overdrive going on. And the cabinet I used was just the cabinet one from this plugin. I really like that, so I haven't found the need to use my own IR. And it's cool to have two different amps and two different cabinets, so they sound like this. So the 5150 is a bit more modern, a bit more low, and a bit more like, when I play it, I can play the sound to you on its own. Okay, and then the Marshall. Marshall, you that conch, I really like that. But what I really like is the blend when you mix these, not blend, you just mix these two together. So as you can hear, a little bit different amp dialed in kind of the same way, but since it's a different amp and different cabinet, it will react differently and it will make the guitar sound even bigger. Okay, and then let's hear how these sound in a mix. Okay, cool. And then what people usually do, they dial in a bit too much bass, so because the bass should take care of the low end. So let me show you the same thing without the bass. Like that, so the bass should take care of the low end. And then now when I've been listening to this, I think I still have a bit too much bass on the guitar, that kind of like low thumb, that it's getting a bit on the ways of the bass. So usually what I do, I EQ it a bit, just a little bit, because if you need to EQ it too much, there's something wrong on your guitar sound. Because equalizer in Finland means taajuuskorjain, which is directly translated to frequency repairer or fixer. So the name suggests that you have something broken in your sound in the first place if you need to fix it with an frequency fixer, aka equalizer. But usually what I usually do, I just add I made this before this just to save some time and show you. So usually what I do is I just add a little high pass filter. And high pass filter, sometimes people thought that it affects the highs, but it affects the lows, because high pass, it's like it lets certain frequencies pass. So now the high pass filter is at 80 and it lets pass the frequencies above that. So it cuts the low end, and then usually I cut a little bit of the 200 to what I've cut it now, 260, 2 decibels. I think if you need to repair or fix or EQ anything except the high pass and low pass filter above 3 decibels, then there's something wrong with the sound in the first place, and then you might want to check out the sound. And especially, usually I don't want to add anything, because if you add something with the EQ, then you add something that's not in your sound, so that usually just adds unwanted white noise or whatever. So I always try to dial in the sound that you have to do least as little as EQing as possible. So let me demonstrate. Okay, the Marshall is here, and it's soloed, and it's middle. Without the EQ first. And then width. I'm just gonna switch back and forth so you hear. So there's a very subtle difference, but it becomes tighter and more present, the sound, and especially when you add the bass. Like that. And then let's do the same to the I have I guess the same EQ here with a 5150. First without, and then I'll just kick it in so you can hear. Like that. I think you could even cut the lows a bit more because there's 5150, there's huge amounts of flow. But this is just a example. Okay, and then let's pan this right and left, and then the bass. So the bass is taking care of the lows and some of the highs because it's pretty modern bass tone. Check out my Will Putney video where I actually create this bass tone if you're interested. Okay, so they sound like this. So there's not that much low end with the guitars, it's mid-focused, nice highs, a bit of low mids, and then the bass joins in and takes care of the low end. Like that. You can hear at the end I just threw in some harmonies, some minor thirds and some I think there was some unisonal things. Yeah, that's the way I dial in a guitar sound, and like I told you, this is the same approach of me dialing. Oh yeah, and there's a noise gate. I just that wasn't on the Marshall, I really didn't even notice because there's not that much gain, but I don't use a noise gate as a gate. I just dial in like so that it's it just cuts the hiss. I mean, with these plugins, because you don't really have an electrical hiss, you don't really need. But I just had a little because why not? But yeah, when playing with live with my Syra rig or whatever, I usually have always the noise gate or noise suppressor, and then I just because the overdrive usually creates a lot of noise or little. But anyway, I just dial it in that it's just quiet, but it's not gating. So I have it all the time on, and I can roll down the volume, have clean sounds and anything. So it's if I need to like really gate, I'll just do it with the volume, old school way. So yeah, what else? Lead sound. People have asked me my lead sound. I don't have a lead sound. I just kick in the delay. I have here a lead guitar, and it's basically it's a Marshall. Let's see how the settings. Well, I've dialed in the because this I've done quite you know, a while ago. So it's pretty much the same what I now just dial in. So there's only delay. And let's see. Well, the gain is the level is maxed on yeah, but it's basically the same. I mean, if you have a good sound, I don't see why you should have a different sound for, I mean, leads, because it's, I don't know, a good sound is a good sound. And like my approach is that I dial in a good basic tone where I can go from clean by lowering the volume of the pickups, or go, if I want to add gain or stuff, I just add overdrives and such. So my lead sound, it's the same, a bit more gain there, but not really. And live, I just use the same. I just kick in the delay, so like. I have a little stereo delay here going on. It's a great delay what this has. And the sound that you actually hear Siren's new album, let's say in the beginning of Out of My Life, it's this exact sound what you're hearing, nothing, we didn't change anything. And so on. So it's just, it's this. Yeah, I did most of the leads and melodies with this Marshall plugin. Okay, hey, hopefully you found this informative and interesting. Any comments, questions? Please put them on the comments below. And yeah, hey, thanks for watching. Take care, be safe, stay strong and healthy, and until next time, bye.